What's up guys, in today's video I'm going to tell you 5 things I hate about my Toyota MR2's. Now, just to be clear, I absolutely love Toyota MR2's. As you can see behind me, I have my white 93 MR2 and then I have my teal 93 MR2. So I'm a pretty big Toyota MR2 enthusiast, but they are not without their faults. And just so you know, these are not in any particular order, so let's hop into that list. The first thing I'm going to mention is that I actually have a preference for the 91 to 92 MR2 suspension. For those who don't know, in 93, the MR2 had some suspension revisions to make it less tail happy. Now, most people would probably prefer the 93 suspension because it has less propensity to slide out, but I love a car that's really lively and I guess tries to kill you. So that's why I have a preference for the 91 to 92. And some people may ask, well, why don't you just switch out the suspension? Because for my understanding, the 91 to 92 suspension will bolt right up to the 93 chassis. And that's pretty simple. This car is really clean. It's all stock besides the wheels. I don't really want to mess this car up just because of how stock it is, as I've mentioned. And for this other car, it's actually something I've considered. There's just other things I have to get to before I even look at changing out the suspension like that. One thing I do want to make clear is the 93 suspension is not necessarily better than the 91 to 92. They're just different, and it really comes down to driver preference. I just happen to have the preference to the 91 to 92 because it's a lot more lively. The next thing I dislike about these cars is getting parts. A good example of that is when I was trying to find seats for this car. My initial plan with this car was to buy a set of OEM seats, but I wasn't able to find any. After literally like 2 months of searching, I said screw it, and I ended up getting these bucket seats. Another example is the alternator went out on this car. It's actually happened 3 times now, and each time it was such a pain to find a new one. I ended up getting it rebuilt twice. The third time I shelled out like $250 to get one overnight because I needed it ASAP. When you compare these cars to something like a Honda Civic, there isn't much support for it in the aftermarket, and then even the OE stuff. Toyota's starting to discontinue a lot of things such as the kooky taillights and whatnot. The next thing we're going to touch on is the fact that these cars look way faster than they actually are. This car here has been swapped with a supercharged V6. It's a J32A2, so Honda V6. It runs like a 13-second quarter mile. It even runs meth. The white car back there is bone stock besides the rims, and that thing runs a 16.5 quarter mile. Based off the looks alone though, people consistently think they're faster than they actually are. I don't think it helps that this car has race numbers though, and a blower sticking out the hood. Because of the looks, people constantly try to race, and it can actually be kind of annoying. And it's happened in both cars. I've had people literally follow me revving their engines. People try to bully me into racing and stuff like that. I love racing as much as the next person, but I take it to the track. It's really not worth it to me to risk myself, or more importantly, risk anyone else's safety on the street. The next thing we're going to touch on is the fact that these cars are so low, getting into them can be kind of a pain. Now, my white car, as I mentioned before, is not modified. The suspension is stock. And so the way I have to get into it is I plop my butt down, then I bring the legs in, just like that. If you have a lowered MR2, it gets a little bit worse. Just as an example, this one has Tane lowering springs and it has the bucket seat. This kind of sucks because I have to plop my butt down. This isn't the funnest experience. Then I bring the legs in. Ooh, there you go. Then comes the worst part. After driving this car, I have to get out obviously. So I take the legs out and then ooh, there you go. Easy peasy. I feel like I should mention the fact that I'm a pretty short guy at 5'6", so if you're taller, that just makes the problem even worse. So if you're 6 foot or over, oh, I feel bad for you. So the next thing I'm going to mention is probably the most important to me as a dog owner. Oh, he's so cute. Is probably the most important to me as a dog owner, and that's the fact that there's not much room in there for my dogs. So if I want to go for a cruise, only one of them can come with me, which sucks. I do know these are sports cars and they don't have a lot of room, so that means my dogs can't be there. But at my heart, I always want to try to include my dogs in everything I do. So it's something I do dislike about the cars. To be clear, this list is not all inclusive and could definitely be different depending on who you are. I know some people would mention the lack of cup holders as a negative for this car. If you're a current owner or have had one, I definitely love to hear the things that you maybe didn't like about your car. Now, if you're considering buying an MR2, you definitely should. They're fun cars, and if the trends keep going the same way, they're just gonna keep going up in value. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this little video, and if you could leave a like, comment, subscribe, share it, anything like that, I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, have a good day.